Okay, so listen, thank you everybody for joining us today for morning coffee. We're going to get started right away because, this is going to be an interesting conversation today. I don't get these very often, but this past week I got another question, which just asked me, Ivan, so what advice would you give to somebody who's starting up a business? What advice would you give, right? And, if I were to ask you guys that question, there a million things will come to mind, get a job, all kinds of things you'll throw out there as opposed to starting your own business, or things that you'll guide them towards, talk to a coach, get a lawyer, talk to a good accountant. So I'm going to go, absolutely, Ted. That's right. So I'm going to go through a few things first. I found this article really interesting. It is the 10 things that I wish I knew before I started a business, right? And I'm hoping that the folks that actually are interested in learning about, interested in getting the advice on what they should do or things to consider before they start a business or before they expand their business, this, I hope they watch it. But I definitely want to go through this article written by Jim Wang. And basically it says that the very first thing that he wished he knew before he started a business is that starting a business is really hard. So does anybody remember that first 3 years? I think Sonny, you just started, right?
Yeah, this was my third year.
This is your third year.
Yeah, it hasn't been the most pleasant.
Yeah, the first 3 years is tough. Anybody else? Can I get a witness?
My turnaround is 3 years as well. My clients are certifying every 3 years. So yeah, you got to find business in between those 3 years.
And everybody needs an accountant, right? So how was it, Ted, your first 3 years?
Well, I've done multiple businesses. So my first one was brutal. So I did a landscaping company. I didn't know anything about business. So so I made all kinds of mistakes and had to pay for them. And so I didn't have somebody. You need somebody there to kind of help you through it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like this company is going, because I'm experienced now, it's a little bit easier now, but it's really rough.
So I guess the question is, how important and valuable is mentorship, right?
Those are tight.
Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and mute Yuri because he is.
I don't think I'm not quite sure whether he's paying attention or whether he's trying to talk, but it sounded like he was in a fish tank.
Yeah. That sounded like that. Mentorship. That's a good question. And you know what? We're going to jump on that in a little bit. The next point I just wanted to share here, it says that, okay. I'm not sure.
It's okay, I'm letting them in.
Thank you. The next point is that it's lonely. Running a business is lonely. And it's funny that if you happen to not be working with your partner, like your life partner, if they don't work with you, it's hard for them to understand you. And if they don't understand you, where do you go to get people who care and understand? That's tough, right? Any thoughts on that?
I can second that.
Isn't that all here?
My husband he's retired now, a city employee, and he worked for the union. And so his mentality around what you pay for and what you do while you're getting paid and what you wouldn't do was completely different than a business owner.
Yeah, there's a risk factor to what we do that most people don't understand, right? They don't understand why we would take that risk. To start a business is risky, right? Because the percentage of businesses that actually make it is after 5 years is kind of low, right? So to start a business is tough. and with all the challenges, especially when you start the business, there's all these people that and you think they're going to jump on and they're going to support you and they're going to be with you all the way, and then you realize that that's not really the case sometimes. So it is lonely. The third point was growth is bumpy. Ted kind of alluded to this earlier. Growth is bumpy, right? It's very bumpy. Sometimes you have a great week, and then the next 4 weeks really are not cool, right?
I think you gotta manage your growth too. Like for us, we can grow really fast right now, but we had to press the brakes a little bit. So
yes.
So you need to manage it. So not only are you looking to grow, that bumpiness through just trying to grow, but you can have it even after you get to that point.
Yes.
Afterwards, you still have to manage that. So
yeah, managing your own growth, especially when you don't know how your company. I mean, think about this. When you started your business and the offerings that you were offering and the services and all the things that you were doing, how different does your business look today than it did when you first started? Sherry.
Crazy different. Absolutely crazy different. And I think, sort of what Ted's talking about and the mentoring and, there's one other piece, and I don't know if you're going to talk about it. I'm sure you probably will, but I often say this to somebody who's just launching a business. You need two things, because you'll learn along the way, but you need a mentor and you also need habits. And without those two things, you're in big trouble. So you need mentors in many different areas, because it's kind of like if you take the analogy of driving a car, if you are the passenger, you don't necessarily have to pay attention to which roads you're on, where you're going, unless you're navigating. You're just going along for the ride. You can nap, you can read, you can change the channel on the radio. But when you're driving, you are constantly conscious of what's happening. You're processing everything that's going on around you, and you're constantly making decisions. And you need to have the skills to be able to do that. But when you get in a car to drive, did you just get in a car and drive? You had to have somebody teach you. And so that's really where, I think a lot of people struggle, is that consistent sort of recognition, like Ted said, of you got to manage, because from 1 second to the next, it might be this sudden explosion of 6 new clients. Maybe 6 is a lot for you, or maybe it's not, but 6 new clients might suddenly take up 40 hours of your next week. But what about the rest of them? Right. So there's a lot of those kinds of factors that people aren't able to pre-plan for.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? The next point is that your family and friends, they're probably not going to be your customers. So how many of us we're kind of disappointed when we realized that our family and friends weren't the first people to jump on?
they shouldn't be your customers.
They shouldn't,
because you're going to be too nice to them. They shouldn't be your customers, or they'll take advantage of you and it'll hurt your relationship.
Well, is that true, Mom? I mean, my client.
Sometimes.
She's shaking her head, yes.
Am I too nice or am I too rude?
Oh, I see family therapy coming up.
Which is what my mom does, so that's beneficial both ways.
No, I mean, even just with my multi-level marketing business, I mean, I would say none of my family buy from me. It's crazy. It's just like they'd rather go to the store and buy something before they buy from me, and I don't have no idea why. It's crazy.
Isn't that aggravating? Isn't that a little aggravating? Yeah.
And isn't
this
like normal, right? Like that's like the reoccurring like story that you hear, that like members aren't that supportive when it comes to that. And so it's like learning to separate family and business. Sometimes
it just reinforces the fact that when you begin planning your business, you need to do market research. You need to know who your client base is. You need to know they're not your family.
Yeah, you get to
We're
pick
all
your
hopeful.
friends, not your family.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're all very, very hopeful, right? That family will go, oh, wow, Ivan started a business. Let's support him. And let's pay full price. Like, let's pay full price. That'd be nice, right? So, that's a tough one. So, okay, the next one, number 5, is find something to fuel your drive. Now, this is definitely a Linda Sherry thing. Find something to fuel your drive. Yeah, when you start a business sometimes and you get into the, it bogs you down, and there are organizational and structural things that you have to do that are not the sexiest part of your business, right? And this is something that drags on day in and day out for weeks, and it's hard to get up in the morning, right? What is it that fuels your drive? I don't know, Sherry or Linda, either one of you want to talk about that?
Coffee.
I'll go. It doesn't matter. With my clients, I tell them you need to reward motivation and de-reward procrastination, or whatever the word is, because we have a tendency to do is reward procrastination. By doing that, it's like saying, okay, I'll do this tomorrow. I'm going to put this off till tomorrow. And then you go watch Netflix. That's rewarding procrastination. So you got to stop doing that, because you get in that cycle, because the next day I'll do again tomorrow. And then you remember it by putting it off. You got rewarded by going to watch Netflix. So you get in your head that is procrastination becomes a reward. So you have to stop doing that and then start rewarding yourself for motivating yourself. So if you make a little list for the day and you say, if I get this, and I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a coffee. So you have to start rewarding yourself for motivating yourself, like when you do motivation.
Speaking of Netflix, I just watched Nobody yesterday after putting things off till today. So I just want to let you know that's a cool movie. Anyway, absolutely, sure, go ahead.
So yeah, I was just going to say, and from the business side of things, that developing a business, it's got to have meaning to you, because if it doesn't, you're never going to care about it, right? And I think that's where when you mentioned earlier, spouses or partners or whatever don't necessarily always understand that passion, but that's what it is. It's that internal passion. And when you have that, nobody can talk you out of that. Nobody can talk you out of loving your children, right? Well, there's a reason for that. It's because you put the blood, sweat, and tears into giving birth to this business. And so the idea of, removing yourself from it or whatever, you need to have that same level of passion. And without that, without understanding your why, the real reason that drives you, you're just not going to be able to go back and tap into that desire to continue moving forward when you're stuck in that week of catching up on bookkeeping.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's so funny because
I think when I think to kind of follow on Sherry, so like there's times where even if you have that drive and you have that passion, that life just beats you up, right? And it's hard to try to get back into that mindset. And I think like things like this, like networking and community, can kind of reinvigorate that drive and that motivation. So like that, I found when I'm down, if I get into like a networking, it sucks. There's not really in-person ones yet, but that used to kind of motivate me to go further, because I would feel momentum, and I'd feel that other people were there with me, and so it would help me.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Mentor really comes in handy then too.
Yeah.
That person that you're checking in with, that, because it's accountability factor. Right?
Yeah, the accountability piece helps. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I joined this great city, was to get some mentorship from people, but at the same time to have some connection, right? And have some other people have your back and understand you. Because like you said, your family doesn't get it. Your friends around you, they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand what you're spending all your day doing. They're like, are you just sitting in your house? What are you really doing anyway?
That's right.
You're just sitting there making all kinds of money. That's what they think.
Yeah, that's right.
Sitting there and you're just printing money.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So that was one of my, sorry, Ivan, my husband's comments was like, you're working way harder than you used to. Well, why would you want to do that? It's like, because I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a safety net, but it kind of sucks, right? Does anybody know what the safety net is? I love this point. This point was I just laughed. Kathryn, you said something?
A job.
A job. Yeah. That's your safety net. You can always You can always parachute out and just get a job, right? So yeah, it's the one thing that you always think about. It's like, oh, why is this happening? This is terrible. I can't stand it. Oh, life is so. You could just stop if you want to, And how many of us, when the alternative is getting a job, we just said, no, I think I'll continue with the pain for a little while longer. That's right. Absolutely.
The reality is that we likely ended up as entrepreneurs because we didn't like the job in the first place.
Sorry, Yuri, I got to put you on mute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I get a lot of feedback from you there, Yuri. Sorry about that, man. But you're looking good.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, Sherry, go ahead.
I just said that the reason that we're all entrepreneurs is likely because we didn't want to be stuck in a job. So
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Number 6, we're talking about reinventing. Reinvesting in your business. Okay. So think about when you first started your company, and the amount of time and energy and resources that you put into your business. I think that it's good for us at least once every 3 years to have that same entrepreneurial startup mentality where you're reinvesting, a new level of energy and time and resources into your business. What are your thoughts on that? Silence.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one that I found hardest was keeping myself educated, or like enhancing my education and moving forward and expanding, because you just get so busy with dealing with the business that you go, I don't have time to learn anymore or expand. And then it's like, ooh, wow, like I really feel stifled. We're in a job, they do force you to do that training. So I kind of picked that up from a job anyway.
There's a thing that happens to me every now and then where people come to me and say, Ivan, you should do it this way. You should do this, or you should do that. And my natural impulse is to say, I can't because, right? Oh, no, that you don't understand what I'm doing. You don't understand where I'm going with this business. I can't because of this reason and that reason and the other. And, because it's always like someone comes to you, we're threatened, and it's like, shields up, and we just block everything out, right? But sometimes in reinvesting in your business, you have to also reinvest in ideas and coming up with things to push you forward that might be out of your field of view. You need other people to help you to see, right? Anybody's thoughts on that?
Ivan?
I think.
Oh, yeah, Yuri.
I think it resonates with the other topic you brought up. And my challenges, for example, is the bottlenecks. Right, or catch-22, because you can't do it all. You can learn everything. You can be the jack of all trades, but you can't do everything 100%. And right now I'm sitting on the construction site instead of instead of in real estate, for example, right? But it's like I said, those catch-22 situations where you're thinking, okay, I'll learn this, and maybe I shouldn't outsource it, and then at the end of the day, you look at it, okay, I can outsource it for whatever X dollars per task, and it's going to be, I can be doing something else, right? And much more productive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you said. I can do this and this and this, and I can't because, hey, I'm busy, more resources, no this, no that, right? But just resolving those bottlenecks is the key, and not afraid to outsource it, because you don't see it. Sometimes you don't see the end of the tunnel kind of thing. But once you outsource it and you have this free time, like, okay, I can do something more productive.
Awesome.
Yeah, that light at the end of the tunnel isn't a freight train, eh, Yuri?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Something else that I think is really important for people to recognize, and it's something that I'm seeing in a lot of industries, and we're talking big industry and small industry, is the adaptability. Look at what's happened through the pandemic, right? many businesses had to completely adapt their entire business model. And what is often lost is the sense of connection to your market. And people might think that they're still connected to their market, but if you take examples, go back and take examples of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like Eastman Kodak, who, you know, they didn't want to get into digital. They thought that this was never going to fly. And anybody know what happened to them? Right? I mean, that's an older example, but the reality is this: we now exist in a space where not only does the market change constantly, but the bigger you become, the less adaptable you are. So we all strive to want to be able to grow, but the bigger you are, you have so many systems in place that you have to change, which means that it's going to take longer and more resources. And so if you're not constantly tapping into your market to know what's happening, you don't know where that change should be or when that change should happen. But it also means that bigger companies are having a harder time with adapting their models. We're seeing that everywhere right now. And so that newer model of approaching things with well, how do I use information resources? How do I create a business like Airbnb that is worth millions and millions of dollars in valuation, but they don't own an asset? Nothing. Right? So it's recognizing that the market is constantly shifting so very fast right now that even the basic businesses, even the basic hands-on businesses, I will give you an example actually at the moment that's just driving me absolutely nuts. So we have to put a septic system into our property. And so there's a whole process. I've learned more about septic systems than you could possibly imagine, nor did I ever care to. However, I will tell you that one of the things that I've discovered is there's a very complicated process for determining how big your septic bed and your tank has to be. And it is very complex. So I go looking online. Where is the online calculator to figure out how big my septic bed needs to be? Yet doesn't exist. Doesn't exist anywhere. That market is ripe for someone to come in and totally change the way that they're doing business, because they've been doing business the exact same way for decades. And I'm like, what do you mean there's no online calculator for this stupid thing? So there's an industry where somewhere someone's going to come in with an XO mindset, and they're going to look at this business and they're going to go, hang on a second here, we can change how this is done entirely. So just looking at your business and saying, okay, how can I change the approach so that I'm using less resources? I'm not necessarily building bigger structure, but taking what Yuri said and building in those automations can make a massive amount of difference in how well you can grow in the current market and adapt every time things change.
Yep, absolutely. In fact, there's a guy who said before, he goes, everybody knows how to scale up, right? We do this in our heads all the time, but it's really hard for you to scale down and be more efficient. So yeah, it's a tough one.
Just a quick one. I don't know if anybody in the Hamilton, Burlington, Brantford area caught this article. Woman at a jewelry store obviously had to close down over the pandemic with COVID rules. And so she needed to pay some bills. And so she decided to put up a few of her Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
It's her new business now.
I know. And she's doing really well.
And she's doing so well. She had to start outsourcing. She had to get, people wanted to come to a retail place to look because it's the touchy-feely stuff. So she's like abandoned for the moment her jewelry store. Talk about marketing, right? And knowing who your market is.
And I want to add to that, because this is what Lindsay's taught me, is know what your market is and watch what they're doing. Like, so I look at other therapists and see what they're doing to see if I'm doing the right thing, and blah, blah, compare myself to see if there's something I can do similar or different or whatever. So you always got to keep aware of what your competition's doing.
Yes. You know what? I'm going to throw in, we've got 3 more to go through, so I'm going to barrel through this. One of them is pay attention to the numbers. Right, Kathryn?
Yes.
Right? I mean, pay attention to the numbers. Always look at the numbers. And Kathryn was part of a seminar I did where I didn't realize how profound it was to the folks that were attending. But, we always have our numbers. The numbers basically cover the cost of your business, right? However, if we're the business person, there's a lot of things that we need to calculate into that, right? So things that like if you're running a construction business and you want to buy yourself a van, then you need to build in the purchase of that van into your numbers, right? Obviously, right? So that way there doesn't come a point a year from now where you're saying I need a new van, and you go, oh, I guess I have to go to the bank and get a loan for it. You have to build it into your budgets, right? So that you actually are generating that revenue to buy that asset. So anyway, but always be looking at the numbers. Go ahead, Kathryn.
I was just gonna say says a lot about too, more my background is I was healthcare. Everything was free. We never talked about money. That's dirty. Right? You don't talk about money in healthcare in the same sentence. So other than my cost to put on a course, I didn't know how anything else ran until I got into a network that showed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always be looking. How many people are afraid to look at the numbers or have not looked at the numbers in a while? Okay.
I wasn't gonna call my mom out, but mom.
Well, it's natural.
Right? Accountant for that. That's what he does. That's not my job.
Actually, Ted, do you want to talk about on this for a moment?
Well, I guess the most important thing is look at cash flow. Make sure not only do you want to plan like for assets and stuff like that, but you got to make sure that you're gonna have enough money to operate. So you should be checking every month, like at least checking what's in the bank and what's on its way and what's on its way out, right? So if anything, you should be checking that. But,
is there a service where people can actually go and speak to, like, I don't know if accountants provide that service where they just look at where things are at with you, see where you want to go in your business, and then help you to plan how to get there. Right?
Well, this isn't a sales pitch here. This is supposed to be a chat. So, but yes, that's something that your accountant should do, or somebody like me. But
right, of course,
bookkeepers can do that too, and a lot of them don't. A lot of them just want to punch numbers and give you reports at the end of the day, not even explain them to you. But you should find somebody, especially if you're newer in business, that will explain the numbers to you, so that way you understand what you're looking at. And you understand your actual position, not just you see a bunch of numbers and you're just like, okay, well, that's all I need to do for taxes. So there we go. It doesn't really help.
But it's funny that small businesses, we start up and we kind of wing it, right? And without seeing everything there is to see here, it's almost like you need to talk to the accountant and then the lawyer. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you need to talk to all these folks to kind of get an idea as to the lay of the land, right?
When you're starting a business, there's three people you should talk to. You should talk to your accountant, your marketer, and a lawyer.
Absolutely.
So those three people.
By the way, back at you, buddy. Thanks,
here I am 6 months deep, and I've only talked to one of those people. So
yeah, so definitely look at the numbers. The ninth one is
Ivan, before you jump into ninth one, it's great to look at the numbers. I mean, I've been working with the numbers for probably 20 years now, and the problem is I can see the financial statements. I can decipher, I've spent this much as my expenses or I'm losing money. Well, that's the only thing that means that you're not making enough. And what do you have to do to make more money? And Ted, correct me if I'm wrong. There is no such a entry on a financial statements as opportunity lost.
There is not, but there is in marketing. So that's more of a marketing.
And there are tools out there that actually can track that with you, right?
Well, so, I also did marketing 10 years, but I'm just kidding. Before that.
Yeah, but that's something that has to be taught and implemented and used by every single individual. Say, hey, you're losing huge opportunity here. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to have to spend $100. Like, oh no, I don't have $100. Find $100 and then you can make $10,000.
Right.
So
so basically, you talk to me to try to find $100. You talk to Ivan to try to make the opportunity, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what?
It's like that.
Yeah. I will just say this before we move on to number 9, is that you definitely need to talk to. If you don't know accounting, talk to an accountant. when you're starting a business, and I think that it's also important to speak to an accountant, regularly, just to ask them the tough questions. You have the questions, and accountants are actually real people, right? And some of them are real people with great personalities like Ted here. So just talk to the accountant, ask them the tough questions, they'll answer them for you, and it will put you on a better track. All right, number 9.
Well, hang on, one thing I will say, if you talk to your accountant, the reason why it's important is because your accountant knows everybody in business. So even if they don't know the answer, they're easily able to find it or find somebody that can answer that for you. So
there you go.
There you go.
I still convinced that you got to increase the sales, because you go to the account and they tell you, oh, you got to reduce your accounts payable, or reduce your accounts receivable, increase accounts payable. You got to get more cash flow, cut this cost, cut that cost, cut that cost. You can cut the cost by so much. There is an end to it. You can't cut, endlessly, right? But I haven't heard once from I know probably 20, 30 accountants, and I haven't heard once saying, oh, this is what you do to increase your income.
So, okay, so just real basic, and then we're going to move on to number 9. And that is, we should be starting with a business plan, right? I don't want to get down to the fundamentals here, but we're starting off with a business plan, and what's feasible in your growth strategy. Like we're basing it on the numbers. We're basing it on statistics, and we're actually doing the research to figure out the size of our market and how we approach that market. So once we've done those things, then basically you just implement the strategy. The challenge that I find, I don't know, Cynthia's not on here, but Lindsay is. One of the challenges that I have the most is, every strategy, every challenge is solvable. But I find that the customer tends to be their own resistant, like they resist financially. They resist because they don't understand, so they think that you don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? So they don't trust, or whatever it is. So they limit their own growth, and I see it happen year after year after year of resistance until some of them go out of business. Right? So for me, I just say, listen, you know what? Make sure that you build a business plan, and the business plan is not a static document, right? It should be a living document. As you grow, you should be evolving that plan to meet the new challenges that are coming up. And then you should be talking to your accountant, you should be talking to your marketer, you should be talking to your lawyer, whatever it is that you need to talk to. You need to find a mentor. You need to constantly be motivating yourself and pushing yourself forward. Number 9. Okay. Oh no, I lost my page. Okay, celebrate little victories. Celebrate the victories. Okay, so when you come onto a networking event like This Great Cities, and you learn something new, and you realize, wow, then you should go celebrate. Or if you hit a milestone, you hit some numbers, or you surprise yourself, or you pick up that client, or whatever it is. Find a way to train your brain. And we're going to get back into Linda and Sherry here. Find a way to train your brain to always want that high, to want the positive feedback of the reward, right? So, okay, I'm going to leave it open to Sherry or Linda right now.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier too.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier too about motivation. You have to reward yourself, right? Like those little wins, those little challenges, reward yourself, because you're not going to continue on motivating yourself, keep going, if you're not, celebrating something and acknowledging the hard work that you've done.
Absolutely. I love rewards. It usually looks like Granddad's, generally, right? Granddad's donuts, gotta love those, right? Where's Thomas? There he is.
Oh, haven't you not asked him to join yet?
Good seeing you, Thomas. So,
hey,
number 10, I have to ask you, how many of us are having fun in our business? Right? Having fun. Come on, Sonny. Fun?
Depends on the day.
Okay. Okay. All right. Christiane, you having fun?
Totally.
Awesome. Okay. So listen, number 10 is make sure that you're having fun. If you're not having fun, I believe personally, this is my own view, that is an indicator that you're doing something wrong in your business. You're not having fun, something's wrong, right? And you need to then talk to your mentors, talk to a business coach, talk to whoever you need to talk to. Call me. If you need to just get a jolt of electricity, call me. If my phone's busy, call Lindsay, right? The bottom line is make sure that you are structuring your business and your life that you're going to have fun. And with the having fun part, it's hard to have fun when there's a dark shadow, somewhere around, right? Where you are ignoring certain things that you need, right? Like Sherry has moved out into the woods, so she gets all the sunshine and the fresh air and the I don't even know. All I can think of is pollen, But the point is that she's out there, and that's great, right? But make sure that you're not doing really, really, really well in business and ignoring the other things that you need for balance, and so that every part of your life is enjoyable. Anybody's thoughts on that?
Great.
Adam looks like he wants to say something. I just see it. When Adam pulls back and he folds his arms and he starts to smile, I think, okay.
In terms of just like this idea of having fun when you're in trying to figure out how to plan your business, I think it also just depends on what kind of what kind of things you enjoy doing and the kind of value you're supposed to be bringing to people. As a freelancer and as a developer, one of the things I specialize in is that I'm kind of this consultant, right? And usually what that means is that I lean into the most like super detail oriented, nitpicky side of myself, just to pull everything that I need, all my observations and everything, and put forth like a list of like stuff that I need to fix and add a quote to that. That on its own is something that I include in the price of everything that I'm doing, along with other information. The idea is that I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can. And when there's a lot of things to balance out, typically that can become very overwhelming. I think it's this kind of balance between, what do you enjoy doing and why do you enjoy doing it, and how to make that feel less overwhelming over time, finding ways to streamline that process so that way the numbers don't feel quite as overwhelming, so that way the time isn't as overwhelming, right? Most of these kinds of things, my experience at least, is a question of time per money, and trying to balance those out is weirdly difficult, especially if you're a one-man show.
Source it out.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
There was
Source
a
out
lot
what
there,
you can.
Adam. Yeah, there's a lot there. I'd love to hear from someone on that.
Well, I kind of agree with like there's different aspects to your job. When you ask me if I have fun, for the most part I do, but carrying a 40-foot roll of carpet isn't fun into a house downstairs, upstairs. There's a lot of heavy labor in my job, and like it's hard to enjoy that sweating so much, like just wanting to be done with it. But going out, seeing the customers, meeting new people, that's always fun and exciting. And the best part is when you walk away, they're ecstatic about the new floor. They just, they're so grateful, and makes me happy to see that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Anybody else?
I just found a way through the numbers, to know how to get rid of the stuff that I don't like. So
Great.
I really don't like bookkeeping. I can input. That's easy enough. That's kind of easy work. But the reconciliation is still a 4-letter word to me, right? And so I make sure that I've got it built in, because I know what the numbers are now, so that I don't have to do that stuff. And I'm like you, Sunny, I do a lot of on-site, not 40-foot rolls, but I have 2-foot dummies that I have to cart around, right? And I'm not up for that stuff anymore. It's like, no, I got rid of the minivan to carry the equipment, thank you. So through mentorship and saying, what do you really want to do? Then maybe you can get yourself to be the third person on site. So the other two can carry the 40-foot roll down, but you get to see the excitement of the client. Okay,
it's hard to find good help. That's the biggest issue with this industry more than others because of the heavy labor, odd hours. It's
I
a
can
lot of
only
work
imagine.
for what doesn't seem worth it in my
So
eyes.
many industries, not just you, Sonny. So,
Yeah.
so like we get that complaint from our clients all the time. Anybody in construction or anything else is they can't find anybody. So
Yeah.
it's just the way it is. You can't find a good laborer these days.
You know,
Unless you belong to a good network, and then you can, everybody knows somebody.
But then it's hard to trust too, to give over that, like being in charge of everything and then relying on someone else to do as good a job as you expect. That's the biggest issue I have.
Yes.
So just think about how fortunate we are, right? We're the front of, we're the face of the company. So we actually are the ones who get that positive feedback of satisfaction from our customers, right? We get that positive affirmation. So it's really cool. That's part of the reward, right? Which is nice. It motivates us to move on and continue to work. So the time now. Okay, so what I'd like to do, today's topic was actually your best advice. So your best advice for the folks that are wondering, what do business people who have been in business for 3 years, or have been doing business like Lindsay for 3 years, what would you tell someone who is either thinking of starting a business or is in their first year of business? What would you tell them as your best advice? And while you're doing this, I'm going to go around the room. And while you're doing that, I want you to introduce yourself. And everyone pay close attention to Sonny because he's our newest member from Brantford. Woohoo, Sonny! All right. So tell us who you are, what you do, and then tell us your best advice for a small business. Go ahead. I'm going to start with Sonny.
All right. Well, my name is Sonny Thomas. I own a flooring installation business by the name of 5-1 Flooring. And my best advice that I didn't know at all was understand the financial aspect of it. Like, just make sure you understand fully, because I didn't know anything about business, went into it with no knowledge at all, didn't know what I should have been putting away. I kind of just hopped in, and still 3 years later, I don't fully understand it, but I'm starting to get caught up. So
interesting. I see a financial seminar, Ted, coming up. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I think so. It sounds like it.
Because I was used to being an installer. I know how to install floors, but I didn't know how to run a business, and that was where I kind of failed.
Okay, but you're still in it, right?
But
yeah, you didn't fail. You're just challenged.
You're still in it, man.
Well, where I am financially is not in a very good spot. I'm not giving up, but I'm just hoping it all turns out.
Yeah, cool. Well, we want to be part of that growth for you as well. So yeah, welcome and thank you for that, and thank you for that advice. Be financially aware. That's good. Sherry, you're next.
So good morning. I would say that, I already said what I think is the most important. You need your mentors and you need habits. And without those two things, you're really going to find yourself dead in the water. You're going to find yourself spinning your wheels. But the other piece that I think is really important is having a consistent revisit to your business plan in the form of a strategic plan. So you should be going back and looking at the plan again and saying, does this still make sense? Does this still light my fire? Does this still have a market? And are people still paying what I think they should be paying for this particular service? So that would be my advice.
Beautifully done, Sherry. And by the way, folks, as we're doing this, please put your contact information in the chat window so that everyone can get it. And folks with the new members like Sonny, if you know someone who is needing this service, he does flooring, and if you know anybody, then please share that information with them. Go ahead, Lindsay, you're up.
I was literally typing to Sonny as you mentioned that. Gee, I wonder why. My boyfriend's a general contractor.
Awesome. Perfect.
And a member. Well, as Ivan said, I've only been in business since January, but I've been in the industry for, let's say 3 years at this point. My biggest piece of advice is that you have a social media presence, first of all. And then if you do have it, never give up on it. Because I've met a lot of clients. Most of my clients have been like, I do social media, or I have, and then they just drop it because they think that that's one place that they can drop their budget if something goes bad. If anything, it should be at the top of your budget because it's going to be your future of getting business. So, and if you couldn't tell, I do social media advertising.
Oh man. Okay. Kathryn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathryn Davies, and I am a city leader for Stony Creek. And what I can tell you is getting a mentor because, yeah, it helps with all the strategic and all that, but it expands your brain. Like, I have a first aid CPR company, and I do training. That was my start, but it's really not my focus anymore. I mean, it's certainly a part of the business, but the things that have been brought into my brain to make it, expand and find the room in there has been amazing. Get a mentor.
Beautiful. All right, Sheila.
Morning. My name is Sheila Chan. I'm a shopping annuity advisor. I help people get paid on the money they're already spending, with a focus on helping people pay off their debt in record time. Helping them save that time means helping them save thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to their lending partner, the partnership that no one's really wanting to keep for too long, right?
Yeah.
I guess my little bit is continuously learn. Be open to learning. So not only just find that mentorship, but really be coachable and to take their advice and to learn. And sometimes it just means digging around that little bit. This group has taught me so many different things, and just that nice thing about learning something and it's sort of a reward at the end too, because it's something that you could have used or you could pass on to somebody. I think that's sort of helpful. So
Awesome.
And don't give up.
Right. Awesome. Thank you very much, Sheila. Stephanie, you're up.
Yes. Okay. Thanks. Morning, everybody. My name is Stephanie Hutchins-White, and I live in Brantford. I'm a holistic nutrition coach and wellness stylist for women 40 plus. And I would have to say I'm with Kathryn with a mentor. If without a mentor, you're not always moving forward. Don't have somebody to hold you accountable. And we were talking about, like Sher was talking about having habits in your day. I have the habit of planning in my physical calendar. This is my physical calendar. Little breaks during the day. So little breaks during the day to reward yourself. So you've had an amazing call with somebody, or you've had a stressful call with somebody, because that happens too. Not everybody is perfect every single day. And so I schedule in breaks just to get up, go outside, have a moment, put your feet in the ground, ground yourself, and then get back to it. So that would be my piece of advice, because it's so good for your mental health moving forward.
Excellent. Really, that's awesome. How many of those breaks do you do in a day?
I try to schedule, I try to work for 60-minute blocks, and then I do a 10-minute break every 50 minutes. So I take a break. And sometimes it's just go get a glass of water and, do some stretches and back at it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Okay, Aidan, you're up.
Yes, hi. I'm Aidan Lefebvre. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm actually at a friend's house, and I'm using a different microphone today.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I'm Aidan Lefebvre, and I'm the owner and curator of Grace Gallery in Brantford, Ontario. It's a Christian art gallery, and I bring blessings into people's homes through artwork by helping them redecorate their office or their home with various pieces of artwork. And the artwork that I carry is local, national, and international artists. I have 23 artists that I represent right now in my gallery, and it's growing all the time. And okay, the thing that I would strongly recommend, and anybody who's starting a business is always remain adaptable. It doesn't matter what it is, social media, marketing, crunching numbers, with your mentors, always be adaptable and learn new things. And always keep educated, because that's also going to help you become adaptable.
Awesome. Good advice, Aidan. Thank you. Linda.
Hey, everybody. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner and life coach. I help people with their mental health on a daily basis and encourage them to change their career. So that's kind of my best advice is that we are always just one decision away from changing the rest of our lives. So as kind of what Sherry said, going with the flow, where Kodak didn't change, then they stay stagnant, and look what happened to them. So there's always room for change in everybody, whether it's education or, a new job. So always look positive for that. And that was my best advice. Yes, there you go.
Brilliant. Thank you, Linda. All right, Mike, you're up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Shirzadi. I'm a licensed mortgage specialist. I help people to buy their home. I can provide the mortgage for buying the property, second property, vacant property. I can also do the refinance for your current mortgage. My best piece of advice for someone who wants to start a business is, first of all, have a business plan and look at the cash flow. If they can, afford for, expenses ahead of them, like marketing or so on. And also look at the competitor in the market. What is their strategy, how they work, and how you can be better than them, right? Because they already have their own client. Why their client has make a decision to go with you, right? So you have to have a better idea than your competitor. And once you decided to start a business, my advice for someone who has just started a business is never give up, because sometimes some businesses takes a year, 2 years to go, to be on the road. Some businesses is faster, so never give up. That's my last advice for someone who just started.
Wonderful. Yes, you can tell he just started too. He's always smiling. I love that. That's great. That's good. Okay, Thomas.
Morning, everybody. Thomas from NLP Technologies, Windsor, Ontario. My advice would be no should be your favorite word. And too many times especially when you start business, it's always yes, 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 yes. And you find yourself digging yourself a hole sometimes. You exhaust yourself working for situations that probably aren't ideal, but you're just so desperate for those opportunities that just aren't probably best for you. Being able to say no is one of the things that every business owner from start to finish should be able to do. There's nothing wrong with turning away something that just doesn't sit well, or you just realize it's maybe, it could also just be an opportunity that you realize that at first you think you can do, but at the end of the day, it's going to be more than you can chew, and it's going to cause you some issues with your business, whether it's too many resources, it's going to, maybe cause an issue with business image because you weren't able to complete it properly. It's just you being able to say no when it's necessary. I myself have made that choice a lot of times where I said yes where I shouldn't have. So yeah, it's something I've learned. So
Wonderful. Thomas, oh man, I would love to flesh that out some more, because I'm the guy who says always say yes. So we should have a yes no thing going on.
It's empowering to say no, right?
Yeah, it is empowering.
You feel good. You feel good that you're in that position that you can, right? So
that's right.
That's good.
No. Yeah, that felt good. All right, Ted, you're up.
Okay. So I'm Ted. I'm from SRT Accounting. We do bookkeeping, accounting, tax, and advisory. So there are some accountants that can help with growth. A lot of them actually can now. It's a growing part of accounting. So basically, we service all of Canada. Our management team have all owned our own businesses, so we've been there. That's our tagline. What I would suggest in the beginning for anybody is I'm going to piggyback on the mentor, but I'm going to go a little bit a step further. That I know, especially in the beginning when I wanted to start my first business, I didn't know any business people. I didn't know anybody. I would have not had a clue where to find a mentor. So I think going to like your small business center, your local small business center, or something like that, to try to reach out to the business community to find a mentor would probably be the best bet.
Awesome. Getting a mentor.
Just to tag off that, because I've always heard, like recently been looking into ways to be better at business and seeing that finding a mentor is the best. There's one person that's always the first recommendation on Facebook for doing flooring. Like his name pops up 10 times before anybody else's. And I was like, I'll just give him a call. And I called him up. He was able to connect me with some people. He's been really helpful so far.
Amazing.
So sometimes who you think might be a competitor, you would just give them a call and say, hey, do you want to talk about, you're doing the same things, going through the same thing. And they might be able to help you out and be more willing than you think.
Awesome.
Sorry, Sonny, you gave me an idea to expand that. Is actually what I meant to say is put yourself in the room you want to be in. There you go. So then you'll find a mentor. You'll find your direction. So thanks, Sonny.
Awesome. Okay, Maggie, by the way, I've heard of the selfie stick, but I love the self fan. I need one of those. It gives me that I love it. All right, you're up.
Here. It's hot in here, okay?
Blows your hair.
Okay. I love it.
I see an idea for a boudoir shoot right there, Ivan.
I know.
No.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that was deep. Okay. Go ahead, Maggie.
Okay. All right. If I could stop laughing. I'm a freelance writer. We all need content these days, so whether it be for our websites or our, social media, whatever you need. But not everyone wants to do it. Not everyone has the time. You're concentrating on your business, and that's where I come in. I can help you with that. I can do your writing for you. I can even take things that you've written or just research or whatever and put it in a form that people actually understand. Basically, I am a writer. I have a few other my own projects on the go too, a script and everything, sci-fi. But anyway, advice, what a lot of people have been saying. But also, you'll never give up, even when you want to. And believe me, there are days I want to say, what the hell am I doing this for? I have a trust fund. I don't have to. But yeah, it's, and finding ways to keep motivated. And sometimes it's really hard. And I find that groups like this, networking groups, that really helps in connecting. And, that's the best thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just, even when you have lousy days.
Awesome.
That's basically it.
Awesome, Maggie. Thank you so much.
Always a fan when it's hot.
Awesome. Okay. Christiane, you're up.
Hey, thanks. Good morning, everybody. First of all, on Team Ivan and Thomas, I'm leaning on Thomas's side. Sorry about that, Ivan. Sonny, welcome and congratulations on making your decision to join this great city. Absolutely amazing. So welcome for sure. My name is Christiane Bristow, and I am a wedding officiant par excellence. I add the legalese to the words I do. And I also provide consulting services for those wanting to create a memorable celebration of life service for those that you would have lost. And you can purchase my e-guide and consulting services on my website. And my advice after my 16 years currently in business is communication, responsiveness, and stay true to your pricing.
Love it. Amazing. Stay true to your pricing. Wow. Can I get a witness? Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Christiane. Yuri.
I don't know how to top that up. But,
I know.
You're always so sweet, Yuri.
Thank you. Well, in my business, the 2 or 3 things is basically when you start a business, you need the mentor. But the mentor is someone that knows, and it goes for accounting, who knows for everything else. knows the real estate, knows your industry inside out. So it's pertinent to you. It's not just a general term like I need to do this, how I do this, not the like a listing presentation, for example, for for the new people in real estate, or how to talk to the buyer. The negotiation is a huge thing. And yes, there is a specific, very general terms how you can negotiate, but there are very specific things when it comes to the industry. So talk to the mentor that's specializing in your industry. That's one. Second one, I think we're diluting. I'm not sure if that's Thomas or Tad said that we're trying to do everything possible. It's impossible to do everything. So try to do high leverage activities that generate you the most money, and the rest will come. And try to outsource the rest or whatever you can do. If it can, and somebody also mentioned the procrastination. I have a different view on this, because if you procrastinate enough and it falls off, that wasn't important in the first place. Right. But you can't procrastinate on important things, I guess. But yeah, mentor. And the third one is the lead generation. For us, it's very important trying to find clients, whether it's through social media or professional associations or golf or whichever works for you in your industry. Try to find those leads and be active. But that's one of the high leverage activities. That's all for me.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Wow. Lots of people going for mentors there, Sherry, huh? It's amazing. Okay. Neil, you're up.
Industry specific though.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. I like your backyard there, Neil, and you're on mute. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you love it. I just downloaded it.
It's nice. That's very nice.
I'm sorry, I just jumped in very late, but I gather the topic is mentorship and how to.
Sorry, what your advice would be to a new startup?
Oh, okay. So that's where the idea of mentorship came in. Okay. I think from what I'm hearing, everybody's sort of talking about the same thing. If you're starting up, you definitely want to learn from people in your industry, and you'd be surprised. People think, when you open a business, you're in competition with every other business owner that is in that industry. Not necessarily. Some of them do want to be mentors. Some of them do want to share their experience. Some of them are very good. They're just good people and they want to share their experience. So having a mentor is a great idea as a good start. I've done it in some ways over the years. But the other thing I would like to say is, if you're going to ask a mentor to be a mentor, you have to also bring value to the table to the mentor. So if you want to get a mentor's time, you have to make it worth their while as well, from the point of view, well, what can you bring to the table to help them? Or how can you maybe facilitate or introduce them or connect them with other people that would help their business as well? Because you have to remember, somebody who's got that experience and knowledge behind them, their time is valuable too. So you have to be mindful of that. So you can't just walk up to somebody. I mean, Sonny, you mentioned something that you called a guy up and he was very happy to talk to you, which is a unique situation. But sometimes, they're too busy. So you have to sort of approach them the right way. If you see a mentor that you want to work with, make sure you're cognizant that they have other things going on and you want to somehow want them to work with you. They want to work with you or mentor you. So that would be my advice when it comes to mentorship. And then when it comes to business itself, again, you look at other successful people have succeeded in the way that you want in the business and model after them. That's an old concept, modeling, right? Modeling after successful businesses. That's nothing new. But also realize that, your business has a lot of your personality in it too. So you have to think about, well, how do you want to run maybe this guy runs his business one way, but because that's conducive to his or her personality, and your personality is a little different, right? So, and maybe you don't want shotgun effect when it comes to clients or customers. I mean, Ivan, you and I were talking about this yesterday about exclusivity, right? How do you want your business to appear, you know? And some industries you want exclusivity, other industries you want the shotgun approach, right? And I think the last thing would be, I think somebody mentioned it. You have to be able to adapt. So the word in the IT industry is pivot. You know, you have to sort of be able to pivot very quickly. And I don't mean, you know, pivot and just completely get out of what it is you started, but see everything for the way it is when it comes to what's happening in the business or the industry, and figure out how you can take advantage of that. I mean, nobody's succeeded in business without doing some hard work. So I mean, you add some hard work, but you can also work smarter. That's my point. I like to work smart. I'd admit it. I'm pretty lazy. So Thomas, you know, programmers are pretty lazy, right? So
I'm not a programmer.
You're not a programmer.
I'm the networker. I'm the line puller and the.
So we blame you guys.
Yeah.
We blame the hardware guys, right? So as a programmer, we blame hardware guys.
As long as that's recorded now to prove that the programmers are usually at fault and just blame me, then I'm good. So
also guilty as charged. Like my job is like half Google, half Stack Overflow, half documentation.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm
Google
like,
is your friend.
I'll figure it out later.
Exactly. Okay. So Adam, you and I can relate. So anyway, just to summarize, I think having a support group like this is a good start. And also, I think there is a group. Is it the working group, or there's mastermind groups within this great city, which I think you should take full advantage of as a brand new business owner, because I think
Sherry agrees.
Yes. Well, I think Ivan, you and I have talked about this off and on over the years. You know, we've sort of mastermind in a way together, but I think a larger group for masterminding is better. And when I say mastermind, are you guys familiar with Think and Grow Rich? Sherry, I know you are. You would be.
Yeah.
Okay, so the premise in Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill, this was written 100 years ago. But one of the things he said was you need a mastermind group of similar business leaders, you know, to have a discussion with. Number one, to keep you accountable to what you're doing on a say weekly or monthly basis, which I think this great city is helping to do. But also because people are at different stages in their career or in their business, they may be able to help you avoid some pitfalls. So it's really a community of people within the same type of business that you can relate to. They can help you. You can help them. There's ways to create synergy. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, and that helps you tremendously, because what might take you 2 years to discover, the other business owner who's been around for 10 years could tell you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? We're actually running out of time, so I'm just
sorry.
I'm gonna whip through the last few people quickly.
Oh, apologies. I thought I was the last one. Sorry.
No. Yeah. Just stick around, but we have the work group coming up right after this as well. Adam, you're up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Kafashi. I am a freelance web designer and developer. I'm the head of Adamant Industries.
Yes.
So my little piece of advice for anyone starting out is actually quite simple. Try not to doubt what you already know. I know a lot of people who, when they get into programming or like they run a business, they think that they know absolutely nothing, and they end up screwing things up badly because they're starting over from square one and they're Googling themselves into a black hole. It generally helps to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and then work to address those strengths and weaknesses as you move through your career, as you move through running a business. There are obviously things that people have issues trying to understand for themselves, but if you stay focused, you find people who can help you, and you read up enough, and you keep up to date with this kind of information, you're going to be fine. But that doesn't mean that you know absolutely nothing, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is have a bit more confidence in yourself when you run a business, because as tough as it is, you're in a better position than most people are when they start doing something like this.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Okay, Victoria, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you're up.
I'm Victoria. We are a group of professors from Seneca College, from Toronto University, from other universities. We are teaching kids. We have a side business, and we created a curriculum for kids to be not only accepted to science program in Toronto University, York University, etc., but getting scholarship. So they're getting into the program with very high marks in the science, and they will get a scholarship. And it's proven, it's running for a couple of years. We have this kind of business. My advice for the people to start a business, just be who you are. Believe what you want to do and just go follow your goal. I think sometimes you do have a mentor, sometimes you don't have a mentor. I think mentor is who you are. And mentor can be anybody, can be books, can be movies, can be a trainer, can be a person who can direct you. Sometimes you don't have this kind of person, but you have your guts. This is what I will say. I didn't have the English when I came here and we started all of this. And we didn't believe in ourselves completely. And when we started, we couldn't even speak with the kids how to properly align the ideas. But then we created a curriculum. We went through a very difficult path, but we created a curriculum that can actually work individually with every student. And success of this is sometimes when I come to the class and I have no power to teach, and then the kid from other country, he can be from any other country in here, and he can tell me, Miss, thanks to you, I can have a future, and I got accepted to the science or to the business in Toronto University, and this enlightens me. I don't know how other people, but this moment enlightens me, and this is what keeps me going, and this is what keeps going my team. So my advice, just be who you want to be and get the goal that you think it's beneficial for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Teresa, you there? Teresa's there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to be short and sweet because I know we're kind of past time. But so for me, you can't do it alone. That was stolen. So, but that's why we all crave having each other around. And just listen to what's being said out there in your industry. Always continue to learn no matter what, and push outside of your comfort zone. As you get further outside your comfort zone, you know that you're going to be a little bit more, probably a little bit more rigid, but you're also going to learn more. So just definitely be out there, and don't doubt yourself, and just keep going.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm gonna end up with Maggie because Maggie, of course, is with us. Maggie, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you're up.
I'm going to keep it short, just like Teresa. Be confident, be adaptable, be flexible.
That was short. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Listen, folks, I just want to whip through a few announcements because there are a few. Today, of course, right after this, we have the work group. Last week, I said that we had a work group, and then I hit the wrong button and disconnected everybody. So I won't do that this week. There is no mastermind today, right, Sherry? Is there? No. Okay. All right. On tomorrow, of course, we have our city leader call, and then we also have I think we have an affiliate call tomorrow. Then on Wednesday night, there is no Investing 2021 on Wednesday night. I know it's on the website, but I just didn't feel like re-recording it. So there is no Tech Talk either on Thursday. But guess what? Thursday and Friday, we have our open house here in Hamilton. So we invite you guys to come on down, have some tea and crumpets with us. By the way, I did read that Sherry this past weekend was actually either prancing or frolicking. She was doing one of the two, which is great. So come on down, because if Sherry is here, I'm going to have her teach everybody how to frolic, okay? If you've always been curious about frolicking, not sure how to do it, it's not the Watusi, it's a frolic, so come on down, all right? It's specific. All right, but so that is from 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock on Wednesday, which is Canada Day, and on Thursday and Friday, Canada Day and the next day, first and second, got it. consecutive. I get it. So anyway, so definitely come down and join us. And guess what? We are offering for everybody that comes down, we're offering a free headshot. So come on down. You get a headshot, right? Which is from me, which is going to be a lot of fun, and that is complimentary. All right. So thank you all for coming on the call.
Ivan, are you
Yes.
doing marketing on Wednesday morning?
Oh yes, I am doing marketing. Thank you. So
Sorry.
At 10 o'clock on Wednesday, I'm doing intermediate social media marketing. So if you'd like to learn about social media and all the good things around the tools that you can use to get yourself out there, then definitely jump on that call. It goes from 10 o'clock until 11 o'clock. Thank you, Lindsay, for that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on the call today. This was a good discussion. Thank you. All right, take care, everybody.
I'll hang up, Ivan.
Oh, yeah, thanks. That was about to happen again. Wow.